to the Sad Dads Club podcast. Here's everybody's favorite sad dads, Jim and Foo.
If you buy some fold-up chairs at Ikea, all right, you're getting a level of quality. They're
Right.
cheap chairs.
Right.
If you go to Walmart and buy their fold-up chairs, which one's worse?
Right. Because here's the fact, right? This is real world.
Yeah.
These chairs, at least two that are frequently used by us on Wednesdays.
Okay.
Adult men,
Yeah.
they get folded up, put back,
Yeah.
brought back out, sat in for an hour and change.
Well, don't forget the farting.
Oh yeah, hot boxed,
Right.
taint dragged,
Absolutely.
and
crotch moisture.
yeah, nut heavied, and Cirque du Soleil. Then put back, then brought back out again.
Yeah.
Right, that's their purpose.
That's all they do.
Right, they have broke.
Yeah.
The backs
Yeah.
break. We're adult-sized men,
Well-
and the plastic I have tried to fix like a thing.
I mean, that's why I brought it up, because you said they were broken, and I don't really sit back in this chair. I'm not like, you know, I'm like leaning forward into the mic. So it's like, I don't use the back. Like,
Yeah.
it might touch my back, but I'm not leaning on it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like, I'm just wondering, it's IKEA. It's not like IKEA's like, you know, Naturewood Home Furnishings.
Right.
Or some, you know, I don't
Right.
know. Or what's the Scandinavian Designs,
Right.
right?
Is that like the Kmart of IKEA's? Are they cheaper?
Scandinavian Designs? No, that place is bucks.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, that place is like
Oh, so
real.
they're the Acura of the Honda IKEAs.
They're the Acura of Scandinavian furniture. Yes.
Okay.
And
I did not know that.
Yeah,
I figured they were literally the knockoff to IKEA. And
no,
like, well, we
if you ever walk through there, you'll get sad because you'll be like, oh, this stuff's fucking expensive.
Oh.
Some of it's pretty cool. Some of it's ugly as shit.
Is it flat pack like IKEA?
No.
No. Oh, okay.
No.
So,
Yeah, it's nice stuff.
shit.
That's why I don't shop there.
Okay.
But, you know, like Walmart's known for having cheap shit.
Right.
IKEA has this sort of stigma about it that it's
Right.
It's cheap shit, but way better quality, and I don't necessarily think that it is.
It's not. Like, these chairs are very cheap, plastic, and have broke.
Yeah.
I think it has to do with some sort of perception.
Yeah.
Because right until 7 to 10 minutes ago, I hadn't really ever thought, yeah, but if I'd have bought these from Walmart, I'd have been like, yeah, cheap pieces of shit.
Right.
So clearly the line...
The perception is...
Right.
Is
well,
night and day.
I could get a Swedish meatball there, so clearly they're above and beyond.
They care about me
cheap.
with the Lennon Kugel fucking drink or whatever.
And there's a clear walking flow to how I'm supposed to shop.
Yeah, they lay it out all pretty.
Right. And,
like,
you know...
Walmart doesn't do that.
No.
They got shit like cable tied to a fucking rack. They don't give a shit.
There's no Scandinavian Cheetos at Walmart.
No.
And
or cinnamon rolls.
Right. So, well, maybe.
Well, that probably is.
Shit. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
So,
but yeah, no, I just think that's
the line
fascinating.
has to be, does a cheap piece of IKEA shit break faster than a cheap piece of Walmart shit?
Well,
then you know.
If you buy a flat pack piece of furniture from Walmart, because you can buy that stuff.
Right.
And then you buy a similar item from IKEA, which one will perform better longer? Which one will last longer?
I wonder how close in
quality,
like a chair, because then we could set up our own science test.
Right.
We'd be like, okay, I'll go buy what folding chairs are available at Walmart, and then we'll go to IKEA and we'll buy an IKEA one and a Walmart one, and whichever one falls apart first is the definitive piece of shit.
Yeah. And which one's cheaper? Which one's cheaper? Like
they would have to
price-wise?
be within $5.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, then you're like, oh well, I don't know. I mean, perhaps the rivet alloy in the IKEA one is,
Yeah.
more aluminum.
Because the perception is that you're buying it from IKEA. It's flat pack furniture, but that it's better somehow.
Right.
And that's not necessarily the case.
This glued hickory ply
This press board
is above and beyond.
Yeah.
And, you know, I can put 5 different bases on this bitch.
It's Norwegian press board.
Yeah. There is someone who was staring out at snow that made this.
Yeah.
And that pleases me.
Yeah, and a deer ran by probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
probably a reindeer.
And a Subaru in a drift.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It didn't come from China.
Yeah.
I mean, probably does, though.
I mean, right? The metal part probably all sources out of China.
Yeah. It's all the
and
same
is flat
now.
packed in Sweden.
It's probably made by the same manufacturer that makes the stuff that comes from Walmart.
I mean,
It's probably outsourced to the same company.
it could very well be.
You know? I mean, it's not like Foxconn is only making Apple shit.
Right.
Right?
But we
But
sell these ones to the Swedes.
Yeah. Yeah, well, they have their own design, so they get their shit. And then Walmart gets our cheap crap that someone drew up on CAD.
Yeah.
Some guy
And
in
then
a
if
sweatshop.
you want real Swedish Scandinavian stuff, you go to Scandinavian Designs or Naturewood.
That place is good.
You had me. I was on your premium furniture page when you said Naturewood because I'm like, oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. Nature. You know what's fascinating about that place? Is when we first moved to Sacramento, it was like 1981. They were not in the location they're at now. They were where Spaghetti Factory is.
Okay.
And it was a giant warehouse of literally just naked, unfinished furniture. It was just oak furniture that was that's why it was called Naturewood.
Right.
And it was just a dusty, dirty. It's nothing like it is now. Now it's like this showroom,
The one I'm thinking of is like Folsom Boulevard or something like
Folsom at the end of Hazel on the left.
Yeah, 50.
Yeah.
Right there. Yeah.
Where like that indoor. They used to have indoor
rock climbing.
No, it was like indoor
prison
mini golf.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, like across
okay.
across from the entrance to
Isn't there cattlemen's down there
Spaghetti
too?
Factory. That's down the street a little bit.
Okay.
On the left.
We're in the same. I bought my boat right there.
But it's literally right on the corner of Folsom and Hazel.
Yeah.
That used to be Naturewood Home Furnishings, and it was just unfinished furniture. Like if you wanted it finished, you would have to finish it yourself.
I think Venus got a. I think we got a like a. Geez, we stored like a bookcase, and we had CDs in it for years and years, and then DVDs, and then nothing.
Now you're dating yourself.
Yeah. CDs. It was probably a Dave Matthews Band collection in there somewhere. And
at least 2 albums.
And then our Matrix HD DVDs, and then Blu-rays, and then nothing.
Well, first it was widescreen SD.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You had to have that. I have a story to tell.
I'm ready.
It's kind of a
My
doozy.
body is
I haven't
ready.
told you anything about this.
Okay. Is this the one I was told to remind you to tell?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So all I know is dog.
Yep. So
okay, that's it.
We, I think it was Sunday night.
Wait.
Yeah.
Sad Dads Club podcast episode. I'm the Lord
It's
Fu.
219.
219.
I believe so.
Okay. I'm Lord Fu.
I'm Jim.
Okay, ready to go.
Let's get into my story.
Okay, go.
So Sunday night, we're backing out of the house to do something. I don't know. It's evening time. 8:45-ish or something like that.
Portaling.
Maybe.
Okay.
And as we come out of the driveway out to the street, and there's a gentleman and his daughter out in it's dark, right? A gentleman and he's like, hey, have you seen this white SUV kind of thing? And we're like, no, we just came out of the house kind of a thing. And then he says, well, they just stole my dog off the porch.
What the fuck?
Yeah. They fucking stole his dog. And then he proceeds to show us, like, I don't know if it was Ring or something, some app.
Okay.
And he shows us the video of these people it looked like a white RAV4 or maybe a CRV had parked out front, and 2 people had gotten out of the car and walked up to his porch, his front porch. And they're like, oh, look, it's so cold and it's like it's lost. And I mean, and then the like Ring, I don't even know what brand it is, says like, I'm recording. It just blurts that out. And she goes, well, I don't know if this is your dog, but we're going to take it. And someone in the background's like, take it, put it in the car kind of thing. And they take the dog and leave with it. And so his daughter was 8, and she's like distraught over the fact that someone would steal their dog. So he says that they let the dog out to go pee.
Uh-huh.
And it was out there about 5 minutes.
Okay.
And they took the dog.
Okay.
And we're like, what? Kind of a thing. And so my wife tells him, well, we have cameras on the house, and I don't know where they live at this point. They live in the neighborhood somewhere.
Oh, okay.
I don't know where they live.
Okay.
Around the corner, there's a loop over there. I don't know, somewhere over there.
Right.
I don't know this gentleman. And my wife says...
Okay, so the dog owners live in the neighborhood.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
And my wife says, oh, we have cameras on the house. We'll look through the footage and see if we find any white SUVs. Right? Okay, so we go do our thing. We come back, and I had gotten the guy's... Contact info.
I gotcha.
And I go through the thing, and sure enough, some like white SUV has rounded the corner out in front of my house going towards the loop.
Okay.
And so it's raining. It's nighttime. There are Christmas lights on my house, which obscure the vision of the cameras.
Okay.
So the quality is shit, but you can kind of tell it's like high headlight, like a CRV or an older RAV4, like a CRV, like my wife's CRV.
All right.
And so I just didn't take the video because it wasn't really worth it, but I screenshotted what I thought was the best, and I sent those. Hey, this is what I see. I don't know if this is the right car. He calls Roseville Police Department.
Okay.
Who comes out, and then they're calling me because I have a camera system.
Oh, right.
And every time I want to get video off this damn thing, it's like pulling damn teeth. So I just tell him, look, I sent him the pictures. It's, it's unfortunate because it's nighttime and it's raining and all these other things. I sent him the best shot of being able to tell what kind of car it possibly is. And I know it's not great. Sorry. And he's like, oh, that's cool. They already gave me that stuff anyway. And we talked for a minute. And so I kind of, texted the guy a couple times, like, any luck? And, my daughter is like really bummed.
What's the time span of this?
This is that night.
Okay. So this is all so far.
Uh-huh.
Dog napping.
Sunday.
Video footage.
Yeah.
And your Roseville PD conversation, and then back and forth with the dog owners has still happened within the same...
Yeah, Sunday night.
Okay, window.
Yeah, within a couple hours.
Same day. Okay.
And so so then I think to myself, I got to text this guy tomorrow and just ask him how's it going.
Right, touch base.
And Monday, I just fucking spaced it. I totally forget. I was busy Monday. So I forget. And then Tuesday, I'm like, oh, shit. Like,
hey, man,
hoping to hear good news. Any luck on the dog? And he's like, no.
Wow.
Yeah. And, they're looking that hopefully someone would bring it by or something.
Right.
They didn't ring the bell or any. These are all like, they just took the dog and were like, I don't know if this is your dog, but we're taking him with us. So I say to him, hey, I know somebody that works at Channel 13 and Channel 31. Would you be interested, if they are interested, in possibly doing an interview and being on the news about someone stealing your dog? And he's like, yeah.
Okay.
So I ping my contact, who is also a neighbor, and someone that my wife has known for years because she used to work for Channel 31 with this individual.
All right.
Lives down the street. Hey, man, got this situation going on with a neighbor that their dog was stolen. They got like ring footage. Would 1331 be interested in picking up a story? And he's like, oh, maybe. Yeah. Let me ping the news person.
Yeah.
And then he's asking me questions, and he's like, sure, yeah, they're interested. Send me the guy's contact info. So I sent him his phone number and his name and his wife's name.
Go nuts.
Go for it,
Right.
So then I tell the guy, hey,
you're going to expect a phone call.
I passed your info along. Let's see what happens, kind of thing. And I can't expect like a local news station to like pick up a story. Like, it's just, if they're interested, they'll do it.
Right.
But I think when it comes to someone stealing a dog, a family pet, they're pretty receptive to that kind of thing.
Well, I was going to say, without the context of the breed of the dog, I thought you were going to mention that it was a special, like I've hit in the last week or so numerous articles about how dog theft, at least in the really urban areas like New York and Los Angeles,
right,
is on the rise, especially for Frenchies and English bulldogs. Anyway, so that's where I thought you might have been going. Like someone saw a unique breed and they were looking to pilfer.
He told us it was a Yorkie. My wife and I both swear he said Yorkie.
Oh, okay.
It didn't turn out to be a Yorkie. It was a smallish poodle.
Oh, okay.
And so I don't hear much from him.
So this was
Monday. This was yesterday.
Sunday, Monday.
This is Tuesday. This is yesterday.
Okay.
So they come out and they do an interview, and he's on the news, or his wife is, or somebody. I didn't get to see the piece because I didn't know they were going to be on. He didn't text me, and I didn't ask him.
Right.
And they did a piece on him, and then last night.
So
this was yesterday.
So this is
this was yesterday.
Today is Wednesday. So this is all.
So last night we had to leave the house to go run an errand.
Portaling.
Actually, we did have to run an errand, but that was involved also.
Right.
And when we came back, my wife's like, "I want to know where they live," and she's looking at she had found their footage that they had posted on Facebook of the ring interaction.
Oh, okay.
And so she's like, I want to know where they live. And so she's like, just drive through the neighborhood. I want to figure it out based on the video that I can see.
Shan's in Inspector Gadget mode.
Oh, I mean, you can tell, right? But we had it down to like 3 houses that were in this one section. And it turns out it was one of those 3 houses.
Oh.
Yeah. So as we
gotcha, bitch,
happened to be driving through the neighborhood to see if we could figure out which house he was in, he was outside at his car. And so we stopped and was like, "Hey man, what's going on with the dog?" You know, and he's like, "Oh yeah, we were contacted by them, and they're gonna bring the dog by." It was really weird because the guy he used a term. I don't remember what the term was, but basically he was sort of disheveled or something, and asked him for $100 for their dog back. As it turns out, the people took the dog, took him to the groomers, took him to the vet, and so they spent money on the dog. And I don't know if they were like looking to get that money back or just like, we want money so you can get your, I don't know if you know what I mean?
Right.
But like, why would you steal someone's dog and then take it to the vet and the groomer and get it cut? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a fucking weird story.
Was the dog chipped?
I don't know.
Because that would be a red flag if they actually took it to the vet. I think.
Oh, absolutely.
Chip detection is one of the easy check boxes, like when you're checking, like, what's your dog's name? License.
Yeah.
And your name is, well, that doesn't match here. Like Roseville has all that shit above board.
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
So really interesting. So we're sitting there talking to the guy, and he's like, "Oh, thank you so much for helping us. We really appreciate it. And my daughter's like so happy that the dog's coming back." And we're like, "Oh, when's the dog supposed to be back?" And he's like, "Right now. Like they're supposed to be on their way right now."
Oh.
And I'm like, "Oh, okay." Well, in my rearview mirror, I see a car kind of round the corner and like roll up behind me. And I go, "Okay, well, car behind me, I'm going to go.
I'm out.
See you later." So I drive, and straight, if I go straight, it's a cul-de-sac, but on the left, there is a street I could have turned left on. So I go straight to the cul-de-sac because I don't know where these people are going. I go to the cul-de-sac to do a U-turn, and that car has parked across the street. They had done a U-turn at the cross of the street.
All right.
And parked across the street. And as we were driving back by, the girl had the dog under her coat, and they were getting out of the car to bring the dog back. So the dog was being delivered right then. We just happened to get lucky to see it.
Oh.
But it's just like a weird thing. And then Channel 13 did the original thing, I think at like 10. And then they had to do an update at 11 saying that the dog was returned.
Whoa.
Yeah, so they did like 2 like kind of pieces on it. And then we're getting messages from Shanna's dad, like, "Oh, we just saw a dog in your neighborhood was stolen," kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So he knew something was going on. And it was just kind of weird, just very strange circumstances. And they live somewhere, I think, in the neighborhood, like across Hallisey or whatever. I think they live over there. I don't know. Very bizarre, man. But I was just happy to be able to give this guy some tools so that he could get his dog back. You know what I mean?
Why you take a dog?
Dude, it's the most fucked up thing. It's literally like kidnapping a kid from somebody.
In my house, man.
Yeah.
I am bleeding heart pet owner.
Yeah.
And to see some of these dogs just out of their minds behind fences and no interaction.
Out in the cold, in the rain.
Absolutely just tease me off.
Right.
But I would never go and take a dog off of someone's property.
Off their porch. They came up to the door and picked up the dog and
I get concerned. It's I would knock on a door hey man, we were just walking by and it looked like your dog is cold.
Absolutely.
Is this okay? We didn't want it to run off your porch. I'm not going to remove the dog from the premises, regardless of how much feels I have. I would stay, in the case of right here. I mean, this is probably pre-COVID.
Yeah.
All of us in the family were doing I think it was a Shamrock Run. A Shamrock Run down Sac. One of us forgot the side gate, left it open.
Oh.
And Jax, in the least, ended up wandering around out front. And
I'm just picturing what this looks like.
For the one moment in time when he can chase every fucking UPS truck that decides to irritate his ass.
Right.
So he's out.
Yeah.
At least has the wherewithal to not go too far. Genesis went and sprinted. But the neighbor directly across the way hung out with him, tried to get a hold of us, recognized, obviously, dog's not supposed to be out. And she hung out probably more than she had to, keep him company and keep him here. And then when we got back, it was oh, yeah, we put him back, but we didn't know. And went why didn't you want to do anything? I'm fuck. It wasn't like we were at a movie or grocery shopping. I am in the worst possible place to do anything or return. Yeah. And it was Venus, me, and Piper, who couldn't even drive at the time. It was we can't pull out of a race and drive home.
Well, if you're 11 or 13 miles, into
there was
the race.
No way we would have been able to do anything in a timely fashion anyway.
Yeah.
It wasn't like we were at Rayleigh's and was oh, quick, turn around.
Right.
Go. So, but she didn't remove I mean, obviously, neighbor right here, but she
your neighbor, that lady knows you, and even if she would have taken him home, she would have come back and been your dog got out, and I made sure he didn't run off or whatever, and you would have been oh, thank you.
Yeah. He's dumb. I mean, but it's our fault
to walk up to somebody's porch and just be I don't know if you live here, but I'm going to take him anyway.
Yeah. What are you doing?
Not ring the doorbell at a minimum.
Ding dong.
Ding dong. Hey, is this your dog?
And then to take it to the vet and the groomer, yeah, it's so precious now.
Well, I mean,
check it out. I got a Yorkie. It's named Stan.
There's definitely a flaw in the sense that we let the dog out front to go to the bathroom.
There's
a flaw there.
Right.
I mean, maybe don't leave the dog out front alone.
Right.
And I don't know what their backyard situation. Maybe they have a pool that's all cement and the dog can't go pee, so they let him out front.
Right.
I would never let Max out front by
unattended.
Himself. No.
And right. And I can't let mine out unattended.
Yeah. It's just a weird story, but that has a good ending, and I was happy to be able to help them get their dog back somehow.
We were
because if I hadn't given him that information or whatever, they probably wouldn't have that dog right now.
And we had, I mean, just recently, it was funny. I went back to a story from way back there, but it was probably 2 weeks ago. It was a Friday. Oh, it was the first day I went into Hidden Falls with the bike.
Okay.
Zander leaves through the front door. The front door, now that it's been cold, I need to work on the latch. It is just off kilter enough to where if you don't really give it
is it loose or
a
something?
sure pinch, the doesn't quite seat.
Yeah.
And
it just needs to be moved.
It just needs to, it just needs a little bit of adjustment.
Yeah.
Piper was home, but homework, it was definitely Friday. I left to go do portaling business.
Mm-hmm.
Zander left earlier in the morning to go to school out the front door. Zander's typical exit strategy is shut the big door, and maybe he absentmindedly touches the security gate, but
right.
This day shuts the door, doesn't give hucks for the security gate, and then leaves. I leave through the garage.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in the truck. The garage door shuts. I take off.
You don't have any idea what's happening.
No idea. Yeah. I am all the way in Hidden Falls, so we're talking now. It's it's a 30 to 40 minute drive because it's way country roads. I'm at the bottom, which is another 10 to 15 minutes, and I get a call from Venus. #awesome signal Verizon. That she's got a thing from the neighbor saying she thinks Jax is out in the front yard.
Oh, no.
I'm like, how the...
Why?
What? And she's like, where's Piper? And I went, I left. Piper was home and wasn't going anywhere because she was doing homework. Call Piper and see if Jax is in the front yard.
I'm away.
Yeah. I'm like, honey... And I think
there's nothing more stressful than that feeling right there.
And I am new to biking at Hidden Falls. So I am coming up out of Hidden Falls. It is all incline. I am...
You're looking for a horse to tow you up.
Yeah. And my wife calls me. She's like, Jax is out. I'm like, there's nothing I can do. She's like, what the fuck are you doing? I'm like...
Masturbating.
I'm in her house. I'm like, what?
Don't you hear the squeaky springs?
There's so much. It's a prison.
Nice.
I'm trying to bike the bottom of this bitch, and I'm getting my ass kicked.
Right.
I'm like, but call Piper. She literally said she wasn't going anywhere. And should be home.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, okay. And also, Venus is at work.
Yeah.
So she didn't get to answer the call directly.
She couldn't just bolt.
So I'm
voicemail.
Like, call Piper, keep me abreast. I may go in and out of signal, but call me.
Yeah.
And so then I'm trying to get out of this canyon
as fast as possible.
And I'm like cascading the destruction of my own respiratory system.
Oh, Jesus.
Like, my body's not built for this yet. I'm way out of shape, but my dogs.
They are 25 miles away.
I can't. I'm dying. I think so I'm waiting for the Apple Watch to be like, you're having a cardiac arrest. And I'm like,
impending heart explosion.
Your heart is about to explode. I'm like, but my dogs. Sweet Jesus.
You got to keep the dogs alive. So
and
you
then
can take
I'm like,
their heart.
and I know this canyon is notorious for bullshit signal.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, she's going to try and call me. I should take a break anyway, where there's signal.
And then you feel guilty for taking a break.
Yeah, and I know, but I got to get out. She ends up calling, and I'm like, did Zander leave the door open? And because that's the workflow I've gone through. I'm like, he left. The door one didn't shut, and he didn't bother with the security gate. And she's like, yeah, I checked the ring. Like a minute and a half, if that, after the truck pulls past the ring, Jax walks out the front door like, where'd you go, bitch? Where's my buddy?
Oh, look at here.
Hey! And then, like, Shiny leaves, comes back, Jax comes back in, Jax walks out again. The entire time, Piper is working away, and because Shiny comes back in and then goes and like cuddles up with Piper in her room, Piper's like, oh,
Shiny's like, it's too fucking cold out there.
Yeah, it's the fuck that.
I don't care if it's the front door.
I went out. There's nothing out there. This is stupid. But Jax has gone in and out, wandered about like, hey, what's up, my bitches?
This is a different door for me.
This is weird. Anyway.
Yeah.
But the neighbor had the wherewithal to be like, hey.
That sounds like that neighbor's saved your bacon a couple times.
She has. But I'm telling you, the next time I bake cookies, I'm taking it over there with like a, hey, this year, thank you so much. Right. I'm glad she is always, and we've sent her stuff like when her kids like come and go a lot more than ours do, and they go through the garage too, and we'll leave the garage door open. Uh-huh. We've sent her a number of things like, hey,
should we close your door?
It's like 11:30. Your garage is still open.
Yeah.
You know, I know the guy down the street parks his cop car out there, but garage might be still open. Anyway.
Well, that's why we have the smart stuff at our house, because of the kids.
Yeah.
I mean, Chandler's left the house with no one home with the garage door up.
Dumbass.
Yeah. The front door is unlocked. That's why we have a smart lock that locks itself.
Useless.
Yeah. One of my neighbors was telling me that him and his wife live in their house, right? And that his stepdaughter has been living with him just recently.
Yeah.
And this particular time, he went to Redding to visit his folks, and she happened to be in Arizona, and the daughter was there, and she left the front door just wide open. And she has a screen door similar to you.
Yeah.
And that wasn't locked. And he comes home from Redding, and the front door is just wide open. He's like, and no one's in the house. He's like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
You know, he's like, I got lots of irreplaceable things, you know?
Yeah.
And luckily, no one had been in the house or taken anything, but, you know, that's...
Yeah. And I put, and like the immediate thing too was that I think I touched base with Mike, and I have your model, but it was like, let's get the auto lock door, you know, like lady business.
Yeah.
To do the, I had a couple options in my like watch list for Black Friday. Nothing came up. Man, those things are,
they can be pricey.
They're. Up $300 for like the ones that Venus really wants in like the style that she wants for the door, or would be easily matched to whatever door that she may want to get in the future. Like,
well, that's why we went with the one that we got.
Still...
Because we got the level lock, which just replaces the guts of your deadbolt with the smart part. So it's the actual hardware that's the same as what you'd already installed, and you take it out and take out the deadbolt part, and then you put the level inside, and then close it back up with the hardware that was already there. So it doesn't look like it's a smart lock. And one of the things you can get, we don't have one, but you can get a keypad and mount it, put it on the side of the door or whatever, so someone could get into it. But we just use it with it uses auto unlock with Bluetooth. So when you come up to the phone with Bluetooth, it just opens.
Oh.
If you have your phone with you. Or you can use Siri to open it.
Can you?
Yeah. Yeah, it works really well. But that was one of the things I liked about it.
How much was that one?
I think it was like $130 or $140 or something like that.
She really likes the one that Mike and Angie have.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not hard set on our door at this point. It's aged enough, and like our handle hardware is like
you're ready to replace it.
So I think she's trying to shoot two birds. Like, one, we get a new handle, new hardware.
Yeah.
Plus, you know, in the Chamberlain system for here, I really like this. Like, we get, now that we're not dealing with like a third-party Chamberlain thing trying to talk to a non-MyQ hardware thing.
Right.
It's way more stable in open and close. Yeah. Now, when we have Xfinity bullshit, or when we're coming and going and there's like a cloud issue with MyQ or something, we still run into those on occasion, but this has been leaps and bounds.
Yeah, we've
more
talked about
stable
these.
than the other one was.
Do you have your set up with alerts so that if it's up for a certain amount of time, it'll tell you the door's been open for 20 minutes?
But
or
a lot of that has to do with me being here, and I haven't. I get alerts as it opens and closes, but I don't have like the delay ones. Like, oh, it's been open and you're away, or it's whatever the time sequencing.
Yeah,
ones.
so ours will tell us if the door's been up for 10 minutes. So if you're just working out front or in the garage or something, you'll just get an alert that the door, and you're like, fine, I'm out here.
Oh, okay.
But if you're not home and you get one of those alerts, that's sketchy because
I haven't set one of those up.
that's the reason. That was one of the reasons why we got that thing. And is because Chandler would leave the house and leave the door up, and you can't close it. You got to drive home. And that was a situation we were actually in one time. We couldn't get the door to go down, and we had an alert, and no one was home. We couldn't tell if it was up or down. Now we have a camera in the garage to tell.
Right.
You can open it up and be like, oh, it is down. The Chamberlain's wrong or whatever. The MyQ's wrong. That doesn't happen very often. The software's gotten so much better.
Right.
But yeah,
and I don't want to spend $300 to $400 on like really cool tech because I like auto shut and opening and not having to have the kids with the key. But I don't like spending that money in order to, hey, dumbass,
yeah,
like close the door.
Right.
Make sure there are two doors here. If you just have this simple mindset of,
absolutely,
I need to make sure the doors are closed.
It doesn't matter.
Then the problem would be solved.
It doesn't matter how much we could talk till we were blue in the face. The door would get left unlocked all the time. And it was super frustrating when you're like, you'd come home, no one's at the house, everyone's gone, and then you'd be like walking through the house, and then you could see the deadbolt on the front door was not closed, and you're like, oh, that's cool. So we were gone for how long?
Right.
And the kids were gone for X long. And so the front door has just been unlocked for hours.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks, guys. And that's exactly why we got that setup.
I mean, at some point you're like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
Like
I've talked till I'm blue in the face about locking the fucking door.
The last, it might have been Saturday or Sunday. Zander finished a meal or breakfast or something, a bowl, and he put it in the sink, and he ended up washing it, and then left the kitchen. And all I heard from Venus was something like, "It would be nice," and like what I skimmed from it was, in not seeing the sink, was that Zander must have put his bowl in the sink and then walked away. And the like chat that we had like months and months and like for years and years now at this time is like, wash your dish when you're done with it, kind of thing. Like, you guys are all, one of you is 18 and Piper's pretty on top of it. But what I had grasped in that like brief moment without hearing was that he must have left his dish and then walked away. I did something, came back, and I saw a bowl in like the drying on the towel, and I went, oh, he must have washed it. So I walked back to the office, and I just typed up, like, he was like engaged in something, and I typed up a Discord. I think I was leaving, so I'm like, hey, before I leave the house, I'm going to send him this. I'm like, hey, just a reminder, wash your dish. And wash your dish, and it would help if there were other stuff in there. Yeah. And I hit send. I think I probably went out to Portal or something. And they like right away, I got a response, and it was, well, I washed my dish.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay. But the second half of my message was, and if you can help out with, right? So I'd come back, I think a day had passed. I was cooking dinner. I think Venus was out of pocket somewhere. It was just Piper, Zander, and I. And opened his door. I'm like, hey, I need 5 minutes of your time. Walked to the kitchen, and he follows behind me. And I went, so I sent you this yesterday. I said, it'd be nice. I need you to be mindful that you wash your dish. And I read it to him verbatim, and he's like, I did wash my dish. And I went, and I appreciate that. But I want you to recognize the second half of this sentence, and that you look for opportunities or something along these lines. Look for opportunities to help out. I said, if you get here and you have to wash your dish, and there's 3 other dishes in the sink, if you're not crammed for time, it's okay for you to take an opportunity to do the rest of the dishes. I said, this will play out. I said, this is the life lesson. This type of mentality will play out everywhere. This is the return the cart mentality.
Mm-hmm.
I said, your requirement that I'm asking you to do at the bare minimum is take care of your business. If you can observe that there's an opportunity to help others.
Yeah.
Dang it.
No, I'm having a funny haha moment in my head.
There's nothing that prevents you from washing the rest of these dishes.
I'm thinking of the movie Office Space.
Okay.
The minimum is 13 pieces of flair.
Oh, yes. I'm like,
you want to express yourself, right?
Look at it from that perspective. I'm like, if you have time, if you're just coming in, you're like, crap, I've got this assignment, and you wash your dish and you're out. I get that, those types of things. I said, but in jobs where you're like, oh, I've completed my job task, can I pick up a broom and sweep the floor?
Right.
Can I fold these clothes? It may not be in scope, but in going above and beyond is not always entirely to your detriment. Sometimes that just builds character and makes you a better something.
Human.
Right.
Yeah.
Return the cart.
Yeah.
Sweep the floor. When I took him to the barbershop Saturday to get his haircut. Some of the chairs were rotating in and out of having somebody in them. And in between some of those haircuts, the person that didn't have someone in their station would then pick up the broom and sweep the other gentleman's stations.
Right.
Like,
yeah,
his silo is his. Yet when he had idle time, rising tides lifts all boats. He took care of the other gentleman's station without interrupting their space, so that when they got done, it all rotates.
Right.
And then he's like, okay. And then the next day he
left his bowl in the sink.
Yeah. I'm like,
he's like, that's too much work.
And I think a day later, Venus was like, so Piper tells me that you had a dishes talk with Zander, and I went, yeah. That's not going so well. So I'll want to beat the drum again.
What he said in his mind was, that's too much. I'm just going to take the hit for not washing this bowl. And
right.
he just put it in the sink.
Right. I'm like, I heard a number of things like Piper in her time at her job, her part-time job there, like already recognized the fringes of that type of like work ethic. Like she's like, I have some person that like wouldn't even like do the bare minimum. I'm like, yeah, you're going to see these type of people. And it doesn't mean that you get taken advantage of. At some point, we had this conversation, I think, at the Christmas party with Jason and Jenny. I watched, where was I at? It was In and Out on our way down to Disneyland. Someone spilled a soda, and there was a young man. It's probably his first job, and he looked like he didn't know his shit from apple butter as far as how a mop worked.
Oh God!
Like he's got like a manager in her 20s, mid somewhere, and she's supervising, like Caltrans style, this young, barely post-pubescent fella trying to figure out how to move around a cotton mop head and like squeegeed out, and the fucker was all thumbs. Like, how do you get this old?
Yeah.
And not understand how a broom and a mop function?
I got one for you.
Go.
Back when I worked at Pizzeria Classico, we had a busy Friday night, And so that meant pretty much everyone was working. And someone had said something about the toilet in the men's room was clogged.
Okay.
And so our manager, Wayne, turns to Brian and is like, hey, man, grab the plunger and go plunge the toilet in the bathroom. And Brian was like, I don't know how to use a plunger.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. And Wayne's like getting pissed. He's like, seriously, just go grab the fucking plunger and just go clean we're fucking busy.
Right.
Go plunge the toilet. I don't know how to use a plunger. He got fired that night for not knowing how to use a fucking plunger.
Oh, shit.
And he still says,
it would have been funnier if he like showed it when you walked into the bathroom and he's like Jim carrying it.
Oh, no. He got fired that night for not knowing how to use a plunger.
And not trying to figure out.
And not trying to figure it out. He didn't want to do it, obviously. But also, I think he just used that as an excuse to be like, I don't know how to use a plunger.
So do you think he actually didn't know? Or he was just like...
It's hard to say. He claims that to this day, that he just didn't know how to use, he'd never used a plunger. So
how far back is that?
This was like 1989.
I would find it hard to believe someone from that era actually wouldn't know how to use a plunger. I would
in
think 2022,
so too.
I guarantee you,
when you're
rotary
17,
dial phone
18
numbers,
years old.
digit phone numbers, phone books, plungers, I could see.
You're telling me that you've never had a clogged toilet in the 17 or 18 years of your life? That you
I have.
No, I'm talking about him.
Oh, this guy. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't buy it.
You've never had to unclog a toilet with a plunger.
Someone that's of employment age in the 80s would not know how, in a minimum wage-ish paying job,
absolutely,
not know how to use a plunger. I call bullshit.
It's kind of amazing, but he got fired.
Yeah, rightly so.
He got let go that night.
Hey, man, everyone needs to make the sausage, and it is not pleasant.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. That's the same place.
I guarantee Zander knows how, because I started charging him $1 for every time I had to unclog his
Jesus
fucking loaves.
Well, one time, this was years later, I was working at the same restaurant, same store, and I was the manager. So I would go in early and like prep stuff and get stuff ready for the night.
Yeah.
And this one time I went to that same restroom, it's the same exact restroom, and I open up the door and I flick on the light and I go, what is going on in this restroom? It looks fucking weird in here.
Was it a disco?
And it was like very yellow. And I'm like, what is happening? And I looked up at the light, and someone had unscrewed the bowl that goes around the light, pulled it down, fucking peed in it, and put literally like half of the bulb was full of pee, and then put it back up and screwed it back up onto the light. So every time you flipped the light on, it was cooking pee, and
shit.
The bathroom was yellow. And I looked at it and went, "What the fuck?" And I tapped it, and it's like the liquid. And I went, God damn it, motherfucker.
Get out.
I was the manager. And so I was like,
someone did that I missed that part.
Yeah, this was like years later, like 4 years later or something. I'm like, God damn it. So I had to go get the fucking thing and unscrew it and like run it through the dishwasher. And
you got like a whole OSHA shit going on.
Dude, that was the most disgusting thing ever. Like, I want to know who the fuck that was that did that shit. You know what I mean? Pretty clever. I'll give it to him.
Yeah. I mean,
but
there's some planning.
When you flip the light on and go, what is going on in here? It looks
right.
really weird. And just look at the light and go, what? And then tap it and it just kind of jiggles and you're like, oh no.
Oh.
I'm glad it was pee and not pee and shit or something.
Well, that's...
You know what I mean?
I mean, hey. I mean,
it's just...
I mean, if you're that kind of person, something tells me that's the next step. You're like, oh, well, it's getting far too easy to just piss in the globe.
Yeah.
So
last time I peed in it, I'm going for broke.
Now I'm leaving the steamer.
They upper decked our light.
Yeah. God. Oh my God. That's some terrible visions.
Oh my gosh. I'll never forget that shit.
I can't keep the globe upright, so now I'm like... That's some terrible vision.
I mean, it's just, why is it brown in here?
God damn. It's like the sun shining through Mother Earth. What's it? It smells like baked licorice. What? Oh, my God.
Oh my God. Anyway, I always thought that was funny. Even though it was fucked up and I was the one that had to deal with it, it's pretty damn funny. I mean, it's clever. It's pretty clever.
Yeah.
Whoever did that, like, I want to know who it is, number one. And number two, I'd be like, that was clever. Good job.
I mean,
you got me.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to do.
Fuck that guy.
I mean,
also, wow.
Yeah, that's impressive.
That's some.
I mean, yeah, fuck that guy for sure.
Some commitment.
Yeah.
I don't like you. That's not nice.
So,
wow.
Anyway.
I had a couple here, but we're edging on time.
Oh, we're edging?
Yeah. So it's Thomas the Tomas. So the other day I was on my walk.
Yeah.
So I'm doing since I've rotated off of Twitter, like my entire Instagram is just only Thomas the Tomas doing weather and other commentary things.
Yeah.
So I'm now a real, I'm like a boba tea fan.
Are you making money now off your Thomas the Tomas weather?
But I'm shooting for. I mean, hey.
So you like sucking the balls through the straw?
I love that. I just gargle them bobas.
It's a blueberry ball. Sorry.
If Thomas the Tomas can sell bathwater, I'm fine with that. Whatever it moves.
Right.
So they've been building out this one milk tea over in the Rayleigh shopping center over there for the longest time. I mean, it's like I've been like jonesing.
Yeah.
Like when that thing opens, we're gonna start wrecking that bitch.
Yeah.
So I'm on my walk. I go to Rayleigh's, get my lotto ticket. I'm on my way back, and like in the self-checkout stand, I'm like, oh, they have the sign out, so they're open. Like, I'm running through a couple riffs about Thomas making a boba tea joke or something. So I get outside the store, and I pull out my phone, and I pull up Snapchat, and I'm on the main sidewalk where there's a sign, and I'm doing this thing where I'm trying to get the one milk tea like billboard in the shot with me in the filter, and I realize I'm that guy or gal or person trying to do that content creator influencer thing in that pose, and I went, This
doesn't look good.
This does not look good for me. And I am right. I already have problems like it.
And then you pulled Squishmallows out of your pockets.
Right. And I'm like, and in that moment, and like behind me, I catch like the like that feeling of my space is, someone is coming kind of thing. Right. One,
hide the phone quick.
I'm outside the fucking grocery store, so people are already coming and going.
Oh, absolutely.
But I come out of the grocery store with the Thomas the Tomas. Here's that joke. Run the joke. Get the sign in. So the one milk tea boba. Hi, Thomas the Tomas, the weather report. And I realize, that didn't. Oh, someone's coming. I'm that guy. Oh, this is embarrassing. Fuck. So. And I'm like, I put my phone in my pocket, and I'm walking across the parking lot, like on my way out through the main, but I'm just cutting through the thing.
Yeah. And
I see the fall leaves on a tree, and I'm like, oh, well, I'll just do it right here. And I'm like, I pull the phone out, and I'm doing the whole arm at a distance with the filter on, and I press, I'm like, hi, this is Thomas the Tomas with your, I'm like, oh yeah, that looks nice. And I hear the same, there's like a dude who was essentially following me out. I'm like, fuck, dude, is this guy really following me?
He's your biggest fan.
Yeah. I'm like, shit.
I love your work, man.
Yeah. No, this is really weird. But I'm like, that tree, the colors of the leaves on that tree really would have been cool. God damn it. So then I'm walking past the Cornerstone and the Starbucks coffee. I'm like, is that motherfucker still following me? Because this tree looks nice too. And I'm like,
Oh my God.
I'm like, guys, goddamn, the kids come out of Cornerstone. I'm like, fuck. I'm super
Check out the old guy.
Yeah. I'm like, listen, there is gray in my beard, and I am doing this like, hi, I'm Thomas the Tomas with your weather. It's cold. Fuck it. Hi, teenager person.
That's funny.
And I get across the street and like, can't do it here. I walk over to the Mahoney parking lot.
Intersection too busy.
Yeah, can't do it in the middle of the intersection. Fuck. I don't want to do it on the corner with the sign in the background because there's going to be a car who's going to be like, what the fuck is this dude doing?
Yeah.
So I get all the way to the Mahoney.
Oh, no.
And I start doing it in front of the Welcome Caterpillar portal. And some little girl starts walking back to return her books, and I'm like, nope, can't do it here. God damn it. I am totally self-conscious at this point.
Oh my gosh.
I am pressing 48 years old, and I'm trying to do a goddamn Snapchat for my Instagram. It is terrible. It is absolutely. And finally, I got a moment to actually do the whole thing inside the courtyard with some pretty foliage behind me.
That's hilarious.
But it was like, God damn. And I made a joke of like the dude following me and a mom joke because in concept, there was a dude and I was like, fuck, I'm just trying to make.
I mean, that could have been for anybody. It could have been
Right.
something you were just goofing around, sending to your kids or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
But it was old man with the pose.
Right.
Like absolutely, it wasn't like, you know, the amount of times we've done loops around Mahoney staring at our phones. I have zero fucks.
Right.
Like, hey, I don't care. But it's the pose and the talking to a camera.
You're making making a spectacle, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Someone in the current social media consumption space,
Yeah.
it is clear that when someone is doing that, what they're doing. Like, especially a person of youth would understand exactly what's going on.
Would it be more or less beneficial to have a selfie stick?
Right. Right. And that.
I mean, because a selfie stick would be a little less cumbersome because it'd be a thinner thing that you could stick out there. You wouldn't have to do this whole thing.
Right.
You wouldn't have to stretch your
in
arm
most
out.
cases, it's not. But because I was trying to
get stuff in the background.
I was trying to put pretty shit in the back.
Yeah.
And the cherry on top of the whole thing is that a lot of Piper's friends think that Venus and I are cool.
Yeah.
So like a week or so or something back, really it's more Venus than anything. Because Venus has more interaction with all of Piper's friends. There was this thing going around with the Piper's immediate girlfriend's friend group, like wanting to follow Venus on like Instagram and whatever, something. And so it became this like in-house joke about how people, your friends want to follow us, and Piper's like, absolutely not. You're not allowed. You don't follow my friends because they're crazy, and my friends don't allow
you
them
to judge
follow
them.
And when I killed Twitter off and spawned up my fucking Instagram, I realized I had people that were following me and I was following that, like, you know, from 2016 and earlier days. But the conversation about Piper's friends following Venus and I, like, I don't see no one's. The only thing I would ever really make is Snapchat, and none of her friends were following me on Twitter that I'm aware of.
Yeah.
And I never saw any friend requests on Snapchat, and that's where I do the Thomas the Tomas thing.
You save it to your phone, and then put it on.
When I installed Instagram, I had a handful of her friends had like friend requests, and I went, oh, I'm cool too. And I went, okay, wait. So the rule was, don't follow the friends, but they can follow me,
right?
Because I'm not doing anything. But I don't follow them. I don't watch their space. So okay, all right. So I from 1 2 3, and then I realized that you could save the Snapchats and then
put them in
Instagram.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, this is 2 birds, 1 stone. No one fucking follows me on Snapchat except the Biblis people.
Right.
But tons of people, that's way over exaggeration. Enough people for funny haha follow me there. I'm like, oh, well, I'm just going to start cranking these out and put them over here. And through the grapevine, it's all my friends think Thomas the Tomas is so funny. And I can't stand it.
Oh, nice.
And I'm like, oh, do they watch it? I'm like, every time you post one, I get a thing from my friends like, oh, new weather report from Thomas the Tomas. And so his name is Thomas, but what is a Thomas? Because he's Thomas the Tomas. Like, what's a Thomas?
This is way overanalyzing it.
Oh, yeah. So I'm like, oh, shit. So now I've got, like, stuff where I'm like, oh, I'm going to do, like, a AMA with Thomas the Tomas where I just start making up shit.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Nice.
Anyway.
Yeah, those are funny. We've enjoyed those for a while.
It's like a total gap. I'm like, yeah. I don't use this for anything else.
And hopefully that filter doesn't go away.
Right. Christ. Shit. I hope not.
Can you imagine your whole shtick would be gone?
Right. And the funny thing is, like, Venus is like, she's like, I don't really find it funny anymore. I think the moment other people found it, it's like, everyone else gets to get, but Piper definitely doesn't like it because all of her friends then talk to her about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then.
And she's tired of hearing about it.
Yeah. She's like, nah.
Fuck my dad.
I'm like, do they actually watch it? Like, no one, Emily tends to like it every once in a while, but like, I don't really, she's like, yeah, every time. I'm like, oh. And then I mentioned to Nick that you don't think he watches it, but every time so now Nick likes.
Oh,
like every
so you'll
time,
get a like from him.
Now I get likes.
He's like, yeah, I watched that.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, just letting you know, I did watch that one.
You got some dad points for Nick.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah,
apparently so.
Nice. Well, that's fun.
That's it. We're close to time.
All right, let's kill it.
Yeah,
kill it with fire.
If you are a fan of Noodle, shout out to Noodle who passed away.
I know. It's a no bones day from now until forever.
Yeah. I thought, as we like wrap it up, one, that hit me a lot harder than I thought it would. One, because I'm a dog person. Two,
well, I knew you had followed him or watched him at some point.
Yeah.
And so that's why I mentioned it to you. I was like, oh, that's kind of sad.
I think a lot of it, mostly dog person.
Mm-hmm.
Too, I love pugs. But I think there was a meta part of what that gentleman did through the dog was really important at a time when it was really needed. And that was self-care is important. Mental health is important.
Mm-hmm.
And through the dog in a no bones day, I think it raised a lot of awareness of, man, sometimes it's just not there.
It's just a no bones day.
And it's a no bones day. Man, take some time for yourself, regardless of the whole forecasting, it could be today and tomorrow. I think the lesson was, and the importance was that take moments for yourself. And now that, I knew it was going to end like this. Like, eventually, the fellow was going to pass. He was already. He was aged. He was an old man.
He was one paw in the.
Yeah. I think some of those no bones days were certainly exacerbated by his age.
Yeah.
But he was important because that part of the conversation about self-care is important.
Well, and I think also, even aside from the dog, he was like super positive guy.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
I don't John something, I think.
Yeah.
John G.
He just seemed pretty positive and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
It was just a fun way to like get his dog out there, and I think that was kind of cool. And like you said, it definitely made a difference for people for sure.
I think it did.
Yeah.
It's good to talk about your own mental health. It's good to talk about, taking breaks. And sometimes you need to leverage an icon in order to start that conversation. I'm sad that he's gone, and I appreciate the conversations that he started. So anyway, in that regard, thank you, Noodle.
Thank you, Noodle, and he should. I hope he's pushing those carts back.
And he doesn't have to wear the mask, but if you're in a space and place where you should, please do so.
Yeah, wash your hands.
Wash your ass.
For sure. Check your oil, Tony. Would you?
Get the shot. Get your booster.
Make the call.
Register to vote and vote.
And vote. And do the kindness.
We'll catch you next week.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Bye.